Hey guys, welcome to Big Sister. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here and listening to this video. If you haven't done so, I encourage you to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. What I've learned is when you hit the like button, then the video gets more circulation and other people will begin to see it. So if this video resonates with you and you enjoy it and it's encouraging to you, then I want to ask you to share, and like. So the title of this message is going to be, You Had to Raise Yourself, You Cannot Raise Your Parents. You had to raise yourself, you cannot raise your parents. Now, some of you, depending on your age, you may be older now, and this is really going to pinpoint the older people, but I sense that there are teenagers and young adults, you're still living at home, and it's like you're raising your parents. Some of you, it's as if you are running the household and the family, because you may have a parent or parents who are so busy or not present, or you're living with a grandmother and your siblings or whatever the case may be, or by yourself, and you're pretty much raising yourself. And it's a tough thing, and there's this thin line when you are left alone with the kids all the time. The parents are home, they're busy, you're getting the baby's bottle, you're changing, you're doing this, the baby cries, they're calling you to get the baby, do all these different things, get your little brother, get your little sister, you're doing so much stuff, you've got to do this, then you have to get what your parent needs. And then because you're always with them, sometimes because you're always in that position, what can happen is you tend to maybe what the parent will consider overstepping a boundary, because now maybe you want to talk when they're talking. You want to tell the child to do something, tell your little brother or sister to do something different, or telling your parent what that child needs, what your brother or sister needs, because in fact, you're the one raising them. And what happens? There's going to be that default statement of I'm the parent and this is who I am and you need to keep your mouth shut and all these different things. And it can be confusing. So I think that this message will be helpful to whether you are a teenager or whether you are an adult. So you're raising yourself, or you have raised yourself, you did raise yourself, and you cannot now raise your parent. Their parents, not everyone is like this, guys, first and foremost. Not every parent is like this, but they're parents who never grow up. They get older, but in their mind, they're still a teenager, they're still a child, they're still irresponsible, they're still doing what they want to do, and there are things that they expect you to do that they did not do for you when you were a child. Okay. Now, I want to say I do have another YouTube channel, and it's called The Lighthouse. On that channel, I do talk a lot about the Lord. I teach a lot of things on that end. Over here, I speak more practically, but I do have a video that's called Maternal Cannibalism. It talks about jealous mothers, jealous fathers. It talks about toxic parents. Because when you hear parent and toxic, it really shouldn't go together. This is like an oxymoron. It is very hard, and sometimes people don't understand that, and you're going to be like, it's like you're crying on deaf ears, okay? No one is listening to you because there's no way that your mom can do this. There's no way your dad did this. And you hear the thing, they're your parents, so no matter what, you have to deal with it. But I always say to individuals that's like that, you know, I may have grown up in a house I did grow up with both my parents, and there may have been love and all these things. I may have had a picket fence growing up, but just because that was my reality, or that would not mean that that is someone else's reality. Not everybody have both parents in the house. Not everybody grew up in a house where there was no cursing. Okay. There may have been profanity, abuse, betrayal, different things happen. Okay. The flip side, there are also people who they have the picket fence and everything looks great, and mom and dad and everyone's in the house, and they have a dog, and you know, they have the whole run, Jane, run, see Jane, run scenario going on, but there's a lot of abuse and neglect going on in different ways. So people tend to want to not listen to you or listen to individuals like yourself because, oh, that's your mom, that's your dad, you're being rebellious, suck it up. But I'm here to tell you, I'm here to give you some encouragement that you are not here to raise your parents. You had to raise yourself. You're not responsible for raising them. There are things that your parents, regardless of their age, their mistakes that they may have made, and you can't knock them for it. They probably did the best that they could do, or they didn't. They thought they knew what they were doing. They didn't expect to have you, whatever the scenario is. They got married young. Their youth and their time was their time and their youth. When you are your age and you get older, it is not up to you to not be raising your parents along with your own children, if you have children. It's not up to you to raise your parents and teach them what's wrong and what's right, and then you're trying to figure yourself out as well. It is not fair. There are things that you may have had to go through when you were younger living with them, but now that you're away, you may be being guilted, or you're getting ready to take a step to maybe go away to college, move and get a job, take a contract job somewhere, and you are being guilted into staying. Are you really going to leave us? Are you really going to leave town? Are you really going to go there? Are you really not going to do this for me? Okay, mom and dad wants you to get this and that and the other, and you're trying to establish your life and yourself. I'm not saying that you cannot help your parents, but you have to also take care of yourself. I'm not saying that you're not supposed to honor your parent, but on my other channel, The Lighthouse, is where I talk about what it means to honor your parents. There are parents that may have been horrible, terrible, but what you do, you honor their position as a parent, but it does not mean that you submit to abuse. You do not submit to them of doing horrible things to you, disrespecting your family, your spouse, embarrassing you. But I don't want to get too much into that on this video. I want you to keep your head up in whatever you're trying to do. You need to focus if you're in school. If you're an adult, you're trying to move forward. Maybe you have a family, you may be single. You're trying to do your life, live your life, enjoy your job, career, or just trying to figure yourself out and heal. You may just have created some space so you can heal, and you have a parent or parents who are making you feel guilty. They need this, they need that from you. I can't believe you're doing this. I raised you, I did this, I changed your diaper, I did this. And maybe they didn't, or maybe they did, but they're not acknowledging the hurt and the pain that they've caused you. A lot of times parents make this huge mistake as seeing their children as objects. What their fallback line or their default line is to say, I gave birth to you, I fed you, I cleaned you, and this should never be a discussion. Why are we talking about feeding our children and giving them food? This is basic human needs. It should never even be an argument here. It should never even be a point to bring up, to throw at any human being. But that's because a lot of times children can be simply, you're just an object. You are property. All right. So it's like, I bought this television. I'm looking at this TV right here. I bought it. I own it. Okay. No one's going to come in here and take it. This TV has no say in where I'm going to place it, or when I'm going to watch it, or when I'm going to turn it off, or if I sell it. You're my TV. You understand that? So parents can have that same mindset with their children, and it's wrong. So you're guilted. Should you go away? Should you go to college? Should you take this job? Because they want you to stay here in town. They want you to be there because you've been their security blanket. Who's going to take care of your younger brothers and sisters if you take this job? But it's time for you to step out, because in you stepping out, you're showing your younger brothers and sisters that there's something outside of the limitations of home and your town and your zip code and the front porch and the block. You're not responsible for figuring out what they're going to do about the children. They're the parents. You can't raise yourself and raise them. You're not responsible for their behavior. You're not the one that everyone should be calling, oh, your mom got drunk again, your dad got drunk again, your mom did this, or your parents are telling you, you need to give me money, you need to give me money. And so while you're helping them, you're going broke. You can't pay your rent, or you're paying your rent and you're doing so much and you can't focus. You're working to keep yourself in school, or you have to work instead of being able to study your lessons because mom needs this and dad needs this. And I understand that people's scenarios are different. People may be listening to this from different parts of the world. But the bottom line is they had their youth. They were already 16. They were already 17. They already had their life. And now you are being placed in a position and an opportunity to supersede, to surpass them. And you need to take that opportunity. It is not your job to raise yourself. You raised yourself. You took care of yourself. So it is not your job to raise your parents too. Parents are supposed, here, let me tell you something that the Bible says. The Bible says a father is supposed to be able to give to their children's children. That is the role of parents. It's not, oh, now I raised you, now you owe me. Again, I'm not saying you can't do it for mom and dad. It's very good if you can. But when you are just starting out, you're just working at McDonald's, you're just working at the movie theater, you're just trying to put some money together, and mom and dad is telling you, you need to pay half the rent. You need to pay all these things. And all you can do sometimes is cry. You can't even say anything, but I want you to be encouraged, and I want you not to lose out on any opportunities that comes your way. After school, after high school, you do well while you're in school. And if you've graduated and you've left home, or you have an opportunity, you continue to forge ahead and do well and continue to excel and to do good, because you are supposed to be forging ahead. You're supposed to be like an arrow going through the air and going high and hitting your target. It is not your job to raise mom and dad. And sometimes they expect things from you at your young, tender age. Just starting out in life, or just finishing school, or trying to get through school. They want you to do things that they themselves never provided as whole adults. And sometimes, here's another scenario. It's not always that they abandoned you and they weren't present. Sometimes they are present, but they're busy. Sometimes because you have the car, the house, and everything, and mom and dad is there. Sometimes parents, if you're listening, your child can be raising themselves even with the both of you in the house, because you're so busy working. You're so busy trying to make a good living, which is good. But sometimes you're so tired, you're busy, everything is going. You're missing out on the child raising themselves, at least dealing with situations on their own. Sometimes you as a child, you're sitting here listening to me because mom and dad's not listening. I'm not here to replace your parents or here to turn you against your parents. But what I'm here to let you know, that whatever is lacking, just know there are always little hidden treasures and gems that are out there to keep you focused and steady until you're able to get out there and do the things that you need to do. You as a child, you're like a canvas. And sometimes parents can fail their child. Your parents can fail you. They were abusive, verbally, mentally, physically, sexually, whatever it was, or just people think because they're not touching you or hitting you that they cannot be abusive, and can be. So what's happening, as human beings, we are social creatures. We connect. And your family, you have that filial love where you have this unconditional love when you're a baby, and you grow up and something begins to happen. It begins to change. And sometimes a parent can treat you like a stranger, a nemesis, an enemy, or competition, whatever it may be. But I want you to continue to hold strong no matter what, and know that whatever you're facing today will not always last. Don't you think about taking your life. Keep going. There is light on the other side of what you think is eternal darkness. You keep going. And so what you have treasures within you. And those abusive words and those things that your parents or loved ones may say to you may stick with you and make you doubt yourself and wonder if you're on the right track, but you are. You have hidden treasures within you. And it's important that you go through your life and understand that whatever you face does not have to be your reality. Your parents' failures or things that they've done and the things that they've said to you does not have to be. Do not allow that to take root and become your reality. There are lots of people that had beautiful treasures within themselves, talents, gifts, things to contribute to the world. But because of the hurtful words and the abuse of the parents, nettles and thorns and just, if you just imagine just a thick brush and thickets of thorns go all over those treasures and it never comes out. But I want you to go past those nettles and thorns and the thickets and the bushes and the hurt and the pain of the words and the things that were done to you. Because a lot of times, The one that people reject is always going to come out on top and do something extraordinary. And so I want you to keep that in mind while you're home and you're doing your chores and you're making your bed and you may be hearing yelling and screaming and they're saying whatever to you again. You, in your mind, just think, this will not always last. I'm going to break out of these thorns. And you know what's going to happen when you get out there and you get the counsel you need, and you may listen to this video and other videos, and you continue to exceed and do well. Those little thorns and briars and things are going to begin to fade away, and the treasures that's in you, those things that you have within yourself through your schooling and opportunities, and you taking the opportunities that come your way and creating distance if you need to get to where you need to be, to become more confident again and to heal. You do that, and those hidden treasures are going to start to come out. And guess what? When those hidden treasures begin to come out, everybody's going to come running out. This is where the people that were throwing things your way is going to come out and say, oh, this is my boy, this is my son, this is my daughter. Let me hold $5. Why can't you do this for me? Or now that you're in a place that you're doing well, they want to come breaking those doors down, trying to shame you. But I want to encourage you. You raised yourself. You had to raise yourself. You are not responsible for raising mom and dad. They gave birth to you. Thank God for that. God placed you in their womb, but you are not property. You have been placed in their womb to be like an arrow shooting forward, forging ahead, to set a new beginning for the next generation, whether you have children or the people you'll impact coming down the line. So I hope this message encourages somebody. Don't forget to like, share, and to subscribe, guys, and thanks for watching. Bye.